So it's 3:21 a.m. We only got like 2 hours of sleep, I think. Our flight leaves Fort Worth at about 5:30, and we land in Chicago at about 7:40 a.m. As soon as we land, we're going to get a rental car. We're going to take that and drive to Elkhart, Indiana, which is about 2 hours away. The snow kind of started picking up. It's really not that bad. There's still pretty good visibility. You can even see all the snow everywhere. But other than that, it's smoother conditions than we were planning for, which is really good. The drive is about 2.5 hours to Elkhart, Indiana. We're going to be talking to the president of the manufacturer of Optimus Industries. I met him a year ago when we drove across the country from Fresno, California to the manufacturer to go pick up our second 2 station. So I've met him before, and when that time I met him, amazing guy.
When we first started, it was 2s and 3s, and the 3 was the 3, what we call 3 public. So it was public on the female side with 2 stalls, 2 sinks, 1 door, and then the men's side was private with 1 door, toilet, urinal, sink. And then we went to a 3-door, 3 stall, which brought us into, but it was on the same chassis as that first 3 private. Our first wet show back in 2020 was a 2 stall and that 3 public.
What did you wait for to start with the 4?
Well, the backstory of some of the wait was when COVID hit, it was great for our industry, but it wasn't great for us. We were the new small guy, right? You start up in July of 19 and COVID hits in 2020, and everything kind of, demand went through the roof for both portable sanitation and for RVs. And at that point, we, again, being the new small guy, ended up, we were fighting and scratching and clawing and doing whatever we had to do to get materials to actually build trailers. So we had, at the time, supply chain really went sideways. We were 2s, 3s, 2s and 3s, and 2 combos, 3 combos. And then when supply chain hit, we basically were told by a lot of our suppliers, no new business. So what that meant was no new frame sizes, no new wall sizes, you basically can't create anything. So at that point, we actually ended up not building shower trailers, stopping building shower trailers so we could concentrate more on just restroom trailers. So it was 2s and 3s, and that was it. So as we finally came out of supply chain and all of that, immediately we moved into the 210, which is the smaller 2 stall, and then the 414, which is our 4 stall. We had also expanded and built a 20-foot 4 stall, which was our 420, which was public on both sides. So it was kind of like that early 316, where it was public on the female side and private on the men's. We just did our public on both sides. So 2 doors, and then enough for technically four people in each room. And then from there, we grew out. We obviously brought shower trailers back, and then that 4 stall floor plan was born from the small 4 stall was born from the fact that we did the big 4 stall first, and everybody said that's a big trailer. Which it was.
20, yeah, 20's big.
Yeah, and yes, and also partly in that COVID stretch, it was everything went away from public stuff. They all wanted private. So at that point, you're in there by yourself, and you could let it go. I don't mean let it go, but let it be used for a certain amount of time, and then you go in and clean it, and then open it back up and let people, and then, but you do it, clean it every 15, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever the case may be, right? But everything kind of reverted back to small private stuff. And so, yeah, 2s and 3s were hot. And then the big 4 was just something that didn't, I mean, it sells, yes. People love it, yes. But it's a big trailer for what it is. It's a narrow body, but it's 20 foot long. Now our 6-stall public is a wide body, so it's the same length, but it's a 6-stall instead of a 4-stall. Now it's all, there's price points on both. But that private, going back to the COVID thing, that private thing kind of went more wild. So it was, hey, can you do a 4-stall with 4 small rooms, do it private, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where that kind of came from. We had actually built one of those. I got in the trailer business, 25-ish years ago. Got into portable sanitation right after Katrina hit. I was working for another manufacturer, and we got into portable sanitation at that time. And I ran that division for them for a while till late 2017. But at some point in there, I want to say it was 2015-ish, we built a 4-stall floor plan like that, where it's 3 doors on one side, 1 door on the back.
Yeah.
And, it was funny because back then it just wasn't received all that well.
By who?
Everybody. We took one to the wet show, and everybody's like, I literally sold it in the last half hour of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my one of my partners about 10 minutes down the road from me in my city has that 4-station. They have it where it's, the 1 door right here, then the 2 kind of on the right, and then the 1 on the back. Why do you think it wasn't well received?
I think it was back then, because we're talking, this is 10-ish years ago, right? Back then, nobody wanted doors on any other side of the trailer than one side. So it was all one side of the trailer. Like we did this might tell you where I was, but we did a 12-foot, we took the 12-foot 2-stall and split the cubes in half, or the rooms in half, and put 2 doors on the other side. So there's 2 on the back side, 2 on the front side. And it was received well enough. But if there was such a thing as negative feedback, it was, we don't like having doors on the back side, right? Now I get that more like the door, complete offside, but this is just the back of the trailer, so it's really only 2 sides. It's not 2 completely different sides. But yeah, I just think it was an odd enough deal that nobody really wanted to, look at that have people on 2 different sides of the trailer, whatever the case may be. And we played around with a lot of different floor plans to see, who likes this, who likes that. The other side of what that trailer was for us back then, we had steps that mounted to the outside.
Yeah, I remember.
Steps, porches, railings, all of that. And we started with those here. But that rear door, you got to pick your poison. You either have a step that goes inside the door and for that door, or you close off the access to the tank and mount a step on the outside. Well, 99.8% of the trailers that we have never had any issue with the waste tanks. Usually, if there is some sort of error, it's been a material error or user error. But with our trailers, you can slide that tank out, slide a new one in without taking the trailer apart.
Yeah.
If we close that tank off with a rear wall and an outside step on that floor plan, and something goes wrong with that tank, you're taking walls off the trailer in order to get that tank out, and that's just not something we're willing to do, willing to look at.
So then with the 4-station, I can't remember because I haven't looked at their trailer in a while, but does the 4-station even though there's a room on the back, does it have the same flap? The tank can still come out?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so it does.
Yeah, that's that same exact tank door, just that exact same setup. Really
Just
the only
above
thing
it.
that changes is that the license plate goes to the other side because the door's on the left side.
Okay. So I mean I love the 2-station model. That's
Mhm.
I already have 2. I don't think I would get another one. I would probably get a 3-station because that's kind of the natural progression that I usually recommend to people.
For sure.
2 stations, in my opinion, well, actually, my experience, are a lot more popular. So I'm really fascinated with the 2-station design in general. Now, I know that you guys have the 2-station mini, which is a 10-foot long frame,
Mhm.
whereas the regular one is a 12-foot long.
Mhm.
So now the 2-station mini, I know that you've changed and altered it over time. I remember the first designs, if I'm correct, didn't have a urinal,
Correct.
and then and there was it was a spacing issue,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming you guys kept tinkering with it, like how can we get the urinal to fit, because it was a problem with the space in the men's restroom, but also a spacing issue with the utility room, right?
Oh
So
yeah, more the utility room than anything
oh,
else.
it was a utility
Um,
room.
yeah, so the with that uh, 210, the biggest differences, right, are on a full size 2-stall. So that's a 6x12 box. The 210 is a 5x10 box.
Okay.
So you're not only losing 2 feet of length, you're losing a foot of width. And I say losing like it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's not.
It just all depends on where you're at. Like, yeah, you'll lose some tank capacity, waste tank capacity, um, and space in the rooms. The rooms are still
Hmm.
plenty big, right? Like you can get done what you need to get done in there. But the first part of that redesign for the 210 started with we wanted to fit our 150-gallon fresh tank in it.
Yeah.
Because the tank we were buying for that, we build our 150s, we were buying a 105. So obviously, ease of purchasing and manufacturing and so on and so forth. And hey, we got this little 5x10 that's got a 150-gallon fresh tank in it. So that was the first part of the redesign. And all that did was the width of that room, it widened out a little bit. So it just made the countertops a little bit smaller in both rooms, but both rooms stayed exactly the same. We still build that floor plan now if that's what you're looking for. And then the second redesign or refinement was how can we fit a urinal in there? And ended up, because on a normal 210, we consider the rear room, and I don't know why, other than that's the way it's always been. The rear rooms are the men's room, and then, or rooms with urinals. And then as you go forward in the trailer, then you get into rooms without urinals. And so we flip-flopped it and put the urinal in the front room, and that allowed us to angle a wall to give us room to sneak a urinal in and move the sink to the back wall instead of the side, and then install a toilet in the floor. So it ended up, it's a nice little floor plan. But again, everybody's got, as you well know, there are rentals that have specific requirements and needs and so on and so forth. So what size tank do you need, and how many stalls do you need? How many people are you expecting, this, that, the other thing. So at that point, it is a great little unit for the size that it is. And then just the availability to putting a urinal in it helps with that whole idea of segregating what's actually happening in the unit. We're all fully aware that I'm not necessarily I'm a fan of unisex restrooms, we'll say, but I don't like it if they don't have both apparatus in them, because then you're forcing everybody to use one, and that's going to turn, or can turn, a little messy for if, and let's be quite honest, we're in the business, so some people that stand up and some people that sit down, and you know, the
Yeah.
standers can make it messy for the sitters,
Mhm.
we'll say.